Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. As you can see, we have my HX300 right here. Now, you may have already seen my Model 5 or Model 7 video I used with this camera, and there's a couple things that I'm going to go over in this video about this camera. It's basically going to be pros and cons and my thoughts at the end. So, first we'll go over some pros about the camera. One first is that it does have the lens cap with it, which is good. Another thing is obvious that it has, your 50 times optical zoom, which is, great. It does have this zoom ring, which works for zoom, and in manual modes you can use it for manual focus, which is pretty good. It does have a pretty easy button layout for, a camera that's in upwards of $600 brand new. It does have an electronic viewfinder. You can't see it through it though right now because it's off. It does record 1080-60, which is good. It does have a lot of modes, which I don't even know the names for most of these. All I know is that there's a video mode and a couple photo modes. Yeah. And it also has a pretty easy button, or not button, what am I talking about? Shares the same battery as the camera I'm filming this on. The camera I'm filming this on is my HDR-CX405 and uses the same battery, so that's pretty good. It does have a tilty LCD screen that does go in these orientations, so you can, like, if you have to get overhead shots, you can have it like this, so you can see up from it, so that's pretty good. It does have this door for these different thingies, but I taped that. Go over that in a second. It's really all I really have to say. It does have it is pretty light for what it is. I mean, it does have some chunk to it, but you know that there's something in your hand when you're holding this. It does have a neck strap on it, but it's a Nikon branded one because I don't have a Sony one. This Nikon one's the one that I used to have on my Canon camera bag, but I took it off. It does have 20.4 megapixels. It does record AVC HD, which is pretty good. It does have steady shot, which is nice. Pretty good stabilizer. That's really everything that I have to go over about it right now. Yeah, that's really everything about cons. Pros. Let's go over some cons. So, some bad things I've noticed with this camera, it's probably just because it's used, but this door, if I take this tape off, it doesn't really lock closed. It kind of is loose, so it opens if you, like, do that with it, or put it on the ground lens first and kind of, put it down a little bit of force. What other cons? Another con is the mic does suck on it. If you noticed in my Model 7 video, it's kind of tinny, and in my Felton Alerter video, the mic's just kind of tinny in general. And I know another con is that it happens with all Cybershot cameras, but when you're recording, it zooms pretty slow. But when you're not recording or taking a photo, it zooms quickly, which, I mean, I know that's kind of for whatever reason, but, it's just kind of annoying. I guess you could almost consider the electronic viewfinder a con, but, it's adequate for the camera. Another type of considered con is the fact that the speaker is under the screen, so if you're playing a video while it's in like this, it's kind of going nowhere. But, that's just kind of like that, so. What other cons are there? I mean, I guess you could consider a con that the battery is pretty small for what it is. I mean, they did have all this other space, like, over here. But, I mean, at least it's sharing the same battery for one of my cameras, so I guess that's something good. That's really everything about a con. Don't really notice anything really else wrong with it. Anything else? I mean, and also there's another con that I want to notice, is that it's probably really hard to see, but you can kind of see that there is like dust or whatever under the lens glass. So if I were to take a photo that has a lot of backlight to it, then you get that in your photo, which isn't very nice, but that's probably just because this is a used one and not a brand new one. But, you know, honestly, I don't really care. And, of course, I talked about how this opens, or it doesn't lock close, it just kind of flops open when you put the camera down forcefully. That's pretty much everything I have to say about it right now. It also does have a 64 gig SD card in there right now, if you were wondering how much it was. 64. I guess it is also a con, the fact that it doesn't, like I said, there's not much space. There was more space they could put the battery. And the fact that it doesn't have GPS or Wi-Fi as the 200 and 400, maybe the 100 does as well. But I'm guessing this is just another, it was supposed to be a more budget version of the HX400. But, I mean, I don't really need those Wi-Fi and GPS features, so that's why I got it. It does suck that it doesn't have a hot shoe at the top, so I can't get better audio, but it kind of makes me regret getting this and not the 400, but, I mean, it still has 50 times optical zoom, so it's still a good camera for what it is. The mic does kind of suck, but, you know, it's whatever. And yeah, that's kind of my opinions on the camera. I mean, my opinions is that it is a good camera for what it is. Really, the only thing I need that I would have expected more out of it is the fact that the microphone is so tinny. It doesn't have much bass to it. Like, in that Fulton Alerter video, you really notice that it, you know, the mic just sounded so tinny. Not really muffled, but just tinny. It's just something that kind of threw me off when I first played back the video. I was like, why is it so freaking tinny? But, you know, it does fine for what it is. I mean, I can't really complain that much. But, yeah, that's really my thoughts and opinions on the HX300. I mean, it's a good camera, and I would recommend it to some more budget, like someone that wants a cheap camera with good zoom and good photo quality. But, I mean, the only thing wrong about it is that the fact that the audio isn't that great. But, if I was going to recommend anybody that's watching a good camera like this, probably the 400, HX400, because it does have a hot shoe for better audio quality. And it's essentially the same thing, but with Wi-Fi, GPS, and all that other good jazz. But, you know, the HX300 is good for what it is, you know, so that's really everything I have to discuss about this camera right now. So, yeah, like I have said, it's a good camera. Only thing I wish that was better about it is the fact that the mic sucks. But, yeah, that's really everything to say about the HX300. So, yeah, that's basically it for this video. Peace out.